Hi, as part of the bar soap class or cold process soap making class, I'm going to show you how to use the soap or lye calculator. Soap or lye calculator is like one of the gods of soap making. You can't make soap without using the lye or soap calculator. And if you're a soap maker and you know how to use the soap calculator, that means you always end up with beautiful and nice bar of soaps. But if you don't know how to use it, you might end up making light heavy soaps or soaps which are on the softer side. And I don't think you want those kind of soaps, whether you are selling it or maybe whether just for personal use or maybe you want to give them out. So what soap calculator does is it helps you know the properties of your bar soap, and it also helps you know how much of maybe water, fragrance oil, and caustic soda you have to add to your recipe. So the amazing thing about soap calc is there are tons of them out there. Some are offline, some are online, some you can, if at all of them, you can use your phone to access, or you can use maybe your iPad or tablet or whatever device you have, you can use it to access. So for us, um it have access to internet, and also you can download stuff onto it. So if you're using an iPhone, you can get some from the App Store. If you're using an Android phone, Android based platform phone, maybe you can get some from Play Store too. And if you just want to do it online too, there is tons of them online. Um we have got some from Brambleberry, from Soap Calc and the Sage. There are lots of them here, so you can just check it out and maybe you work with one or two or three of them, then you see what really works for you. So me, what works for me is Soap Calc from soapcalc.net. So what I always do is I go to my browser, maybe go to Google. You can use any search engine of your choice, but me, I'm used to um Google, so I mostly do everything with Google. So when you come to Subcalc and you check on the first or the landing page, you definitely see this, and from here you can see tons of stuffs here. You can read it. It really be beneficial to you. So you can, maybe when you have time, you just go through just to get a grip of a few. But for this video, we are looking at recipe calculator. So what you have to do is you click on it. If you are using SoapCalc, this is how it's supposed to look like. But if you are using a different version of this, you are definitely going to find all these things in it, but you're not going to see this interface. So you can see stuffs have been numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So since you are making a bar soap, you are going to use sodium hydroxide. That's NaOH, or caustic soda or lye. But if you're supposed to be making liquid soap, you could have used potash or potassium hydroxide. That's when you're making liquid soap. So for this video, I'm only teaching for hard bar soaps. So for one, when you first open any soap calculator, it's like it's default. Lye is already selected, so at times you don't need to move around, just leave it as how it is. And in soap making, we only measure in weight, we don't do volumes, where you say maybe I will need 10 ml, I would need 2 ml. We don't do that. We do like you need 10 pounds, you need 10 ounces, you need 10 grams. That's what you do. So whatever unit you are okay with, you understand, you know how to work with, then you select. I'm cool with grams because I started learning soap making with grams, so I always stick to grams. And you can see just below the grams, you can see 500 grams over there. Okay, it's nothing special. It's just like maybe I want to make soap with 1,000 grams of oil, or maybe I want to make soap with 500 grams of oil. I just type it in there. So this is just the quantity of oil I want to use. It's not mandatory, you just type it in there. You can choose to leave it, and after the whole process, the whole system will just input everything in there for you. So we go to 3, that's water, and we have 38 here. For first timers or beginners, I always advise you let the 38 be and don't touch anything under the number 3. Just let it be. um the 38 years stands for the percentage of water to oils you have in your products. Okay, when you can choose to decrease it to 30, to 33, to 35, or what have you, but for beginners sake I advise you keep it at 38. Because if you are a beginner, at times when you are doing this thing, or when you're making soap, you feel so anxious, so happy, you want to get everything incorporated, everything done, and at times the edge is so much that you need to play. So you keep it at 38, maybe you can play a bit. But if let's say you're using a lot of hard oils like red palm oil, palm kernel, coconut oil, shea butter, tallow, and all those oils, and you are keeping your water at 30, that means your soap is going to trace so fast and it's going to harden up. You might end up just using a spoon to scoop it up into your slab or maybe your mold. And you being a beginner, you might not have even mixed everything well, and you might end up with like pockets and all those things. Your soap might not be beautiful like how you've been fantasizing about it over some months. And so let's keep it at 38. And maybe when you get a few batches under your belt and you think, oh yeah, now I can mix those like a pro, then you can just decrease it to any percentage. But before you decide to do this decreasing, please do your research and learn a lot about this before you do it. So let's go to number 4. We have superfat. Superfat is like the percentage of oils left behind that has not been turned into soap. So please don't think the oils is left behind, so you not add the oils to the soap. You add it to the soap. But when it goes through the chemical process, that oil will be left behind in the soap. It's not going to turn into soap. And you not see the oil still dripping off. It's a chemical process. So everything will be in there. So when somebody uses your soap, after using, you not see that the person is dry or the person has become white. It's very, very common in Africa, um, about what I'm talking, like what I'm discussing. Maybe somebody will use a particular soap and you see that after using the soap, the person is white or kind of pale. At times maybe the person has got a dry skin, and maybe the person is using a bath soap which has got a very, very high cleansing property, and maybe less super fat. There is no oils left behind, oils to take care of the skin. So we mostly advise you take into consideration your super fat. It's really very, 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 very important. Okay, so it depends on which recipe you are making. The superfat doesn't need to stay at 5. It can change. It depends. So let's say you're making 100% coconut oil soap. That means you're making only coconut oil soap. At times you can superfat up to 25 to 30. Sorry, to 30. I've heard people do more than 30, but I've only tried 25 to 30 and it's so amazing. So it depends. It depends. You do a higher superfat because coconut oil alone, it's kind of, it dries the skin, it cleanses a lot. So we do a higher superfat to cater for that cleansing effect. So for the fragrance part too, what I've been doing is I've never touched the 31. It seemed to work for me, so I just leave it as it is. Then after the whole process, the whole system will just calculate everything for me. So maybe if you're using essential oil, maybe you should do a little research on your essential oil, how much you can use in a particular product, whether it's a wash off product or whether it's a stay on product. You have to know the safe rate. I can't mention how much you can use because I don't know which essential oil you'll be using. So kindly try and do your research. And I know there are calculators out there for calculating fragrance oils and these other additives we add to soap. So you can look out for that. You can go to Google or any of the search engines and you'll be able to find that. So we come to 5, you have soap qualities, and from here, and our oils, fats, and waxes, we have tons of oils here. This is where we will choose our oils, butters, and fat from for our soap recipe. Okay, so what I mostly advise first timers is don't break your account. All right, if you only have coconut oil, research about coconut oil, how to use coconut oil in soap. You can only make 100% coconut oil soap, and it's so amazing and it's beautiful. Okay, and if you've seen somebody adding like 10 to 8 oils, that does not mean you two have to do the same thing. You don't know, that person might be having a lot of oils there. That's why he or she is doing that. You should use what is available to you and what you can afford, and also always keep it in mind that the oils must be new. You don't need expired oils. If the oils have expired, always put at the back of your mind that your soap, no matter what you do, your soap will go bad, because your foundation is already bad. So no matter what you do, it will go bad. And in soap making, you don't need preservative. Okay, the light does the whole thing, and nothing can survive in the soap unless maybe all your oils are bad and you add other stuffs. That one, your soap is definitely going to go bad. So you don't need preservative for soaps. But if you want to add preservative, that one too is up to you, but you have to do a little research on it. So I want to make a simple bar soap, okay? And I have sweet almond oil. So I select the oil and I click add. If I don't want it, I click on remove it. Okay. If I don't want it, you can see you can see the minus and the plus sign here. Okay, if I don't want something, I just click the minus, it goes away. If I want it to come back, I just click on the plus, then it comes back. So I have my almond here. I want to add coconut oil. Okay, then I'm going to heat it up with a bit of castor oil. Okay, castor oil. Then I'm a fan of beef tallow, so I'm a big fan of it. So I basically add to every product I make. Then maybe I'll add little shea butter. It's this my choices, but you can choose to select whatever you want. Okay, so let's say I'm just going to keep the oils at 5, but you can choose to do only 2, only 3, only 1. Okay, so here you can see percentage and you can see the grams here. The thing is, if you are experienced soap maker, maybe you know that I want to use 50% almond, I want to use 10% coconut, I want to use 10% castor. Yeah, that's that. Then you just type it in there. So let's say I want to use 30 almond. Let me keep it at 25. I want to use 25 almond. I want to use 15 coconut. I want to use 10 castor. I want to use tallow at 15, and I want to use shea at 10. I know it's not at 10. Okay, let's leave it 25. So whenever you're calculating, maybe you want to check if it has to sum up to 100 here. If you want to check whether you have to 100, you can just click on the calculate recipe and it will just tell you how much is left behind. So let's say I make coconut to 25. Then I make what else? Okay, let's say I make my share 15. Wow, still left with 10. Is there any other oil I could add? Just okay, let me see. 30. Huh? Left with 5. So. Okay, since I'm a fan of tallow, let me make tallow at 20. Okay, so it's at 100 now. If you can see from below here, 100 is here, 500 is here. So from the gram side, you can see that we will need 150 grams of sweet almond oil. Then we need 125 of coconut oil, then 50 of castor, then tallow, then You can see. So what you have to do is, please, you have to also read about the individual oils. Every oil has got how much you can use in a product. So after that, you click on calculate. Everything is calculated. So you want to see what you'll be presented with. You click on view or print recipe. After clicking view or print recipe, it's open up on a new page or in a new tab for you. Then you can see the properties of your soap. So let me explain all the part. So just for the sake of soap making is like teaching. You always need to keep tabs of everything. So for the recipe name, I'm just making it um simple bar. Okay. And from here you can see that you'll be using 15.50 grams of fragrance oil. Then from here you can see the quantity of water lye that I'll be using. And right here too, you can see the quantity of your individual oils in different weights too here. So what I mostly do is, in case I'm adding anything like any maybe ground oat, I just type all of them in here, then I just write how much I'll be using. So that in case I want to go back to it in the future, maybe I love that recipe or maybe I love that particular soup, I can always go back to it. And always keep records on when you made it, made on, cut on, so that you can study the various curing processes. So whatever notes you want to add to your process, you can just type it in there, then it just goes like that. You can also use this place too. You can also type whatever you want in here. So for beginners, I always advise you should try our best and stay in the ranges. Okay. So when you talk about hardness, hardness is talking about how hard your bar soup will be. And for our recipe, it's going to be around 40. So which I'm sure by 24 hours, our soup will be kind of a bit hard. Then we can remove and cut. And for the cleansing, talks about our bodies are made up with its own natural oils, okay? And at times these oils come into contact with dirt and our skin become dirty. The soap has to do the cleaning work. I'm just trying to explain in the layman's term. I don't want to go into the chemicals, but um the body gets dirty, the soap needs to do the cleaning work. So if your cleansing is high, that means a lot of your natural body oils is going to be stripped off. So that's what happens when at times you see people and um their body is so white whenever they finish bathing, or maybe you see that they are so dry when they finish bathing. So you can see our cleansing too is good, which is around 18. At times you can play with oils to get maybe something below 12 or something maybe close to 12. 18 is okay. And conditioning, after using a bar of soap and you look at your skin like, yeah, this is good. So you need something that will just help maintain the moisture and keep the skin so beautiful. And bubbly is how bubbly our soup will be. I'm just using the word again, how bubbly our soup will be. At times it's so beautiful to sleep in a pool of foam. Just amazing. So the bubbly at 27, it's cool. And if it's not okay, maybe you can add little sugar, like maybe a teaspoon to your lye before you add up. That's also cool. And the creamy aspect to is at 31, which is not bad. And one advice I give to first time soap makers is for this, the iodine and iron is, please try your possible best always to be in the very good range. There are some times when I started, I decided to step out and just do my own thing, and it didn't go so well. So basically, you can print this and save it, or maybe take a screenshot of it and just keep it for future purpose. So basically, this is your lye or soap calculator. You need to know how to use it and understand it. So please, if you have any question, kindly leave it in the comment section. And if you've not liked this video yet, please do. And if you've not subscribed yet, kindly subscribe. And I'll be so mad to get back to you whatever question you've got. And happy soaping.